So team, we want to really know, how do you know when to actually make that transition from being an athlete to choosing to being a coach? And really, what's the difference? What works? What doesn't work? As much as you hear the beauty of these three coaches and how powerful they're doing it, it's not for everyone. And so just because you are a great athlete, we want you to celebrate being a great athlete, love every moment of it, enjoy it, and don't feel any obligation at all or pressure to come into coaching, because it is very different. And that's what we want to talk about, is really, how do you make that change from being an athlete and it really being all about you and it being all about your performance and people devoted to you and making sure that you're set up for success, for actually becoming that coach that is responsible now for helping the athlete become everything that that coach had the ability to do. So it's very fun to bring in Melissa, who's got lots of years in basically that transition mode, coming right into, even though I want to call them our new coaches, you can hear they have beautiful experience at doing it. We just really wanted to speak into the heart of that. So Melissa, we're going to dive in and ask you your winning strategies about, as you watch your film and think about really all that you've learned, what are those winning strategies for our coaches to hear, that's all about how to make sure it's not about you anymore as an athlete, and you really step into honoring the heart of the athlete?
Well, you said it, it is no longer about me. That was probably my most difficult transition, because being a professional athlete and being an independent sport, like an individual sport, I mean, I didn't have anyone else to rely on or depend on except for me. And if I didn't take care of myself, and my game and my agenda and everything that went into it, then I was going to get pretty beat up and walked over. And so I will never forget the first day that I'm a brand new coach, zero experience. My athletes come in, and it was like, where's my golf bag? Where are my golf balls? Where's my uniforms? My uniform's too tight. I'm like, oh my gosh, that hit me smack in the face like a pie. It was like, it is no longer about you. And I was selfish, but I was conditioned that way. And so I think that was part of my journey into transitioning into a coach, and I really had to dig into myself. And I think that's why sport life coaching really struck a chord in my heart, is that I really only knew how to do golf, and from my perspective. And I didn't really even ever think of anybody else's perspective. And I think that's probably a winning strategy, is that whatever worked for me in the way I did things doesn't necessarily, and certainly doesn't work for everybody. And I think that's been one of the greatest learning experiences, is that there are so many different ways to get things done, and so many different people and their stories and their backgrounds. And I think that's the fascinating part of it, is how to figure out, and I'm not always successful at it, but trying to figure out how to get the best out of somebody and trying to understand where did they come from. I'm a positive coach. I'm, very reassuring and give positive feedback, but there's some kids that have come up with not such a positive environment, and they think they like it, but they don't respond. And so there's times I have to kind of get on them, and that in golf it just doesn't even seem like it fits, but you just have to know where they came from and how they respond. So just knowing that how I did it, how I played, it doesn't really have a lot to do with my coaching them.
Great words of wisdom. So Nicole, as you watch your film and you think about what you've learned going from, being an athlete to going into the pros and then choosing to go in and really be that coach, tell us what your winning strategies are.
Well, Melissa struck on it. Lose your ego. You have to. You are there to serve. In our case, as college coaches, the student athletes. And so, as a new coach, there were some things I knew, but a whole lot of things I didn't. And also working for a head coach and trying to find my niche and ways to serve not just my student athletes, but my head coach and fellow assistant coaches. You just find different ways to serve. And so coming in, finding out what that is, whether that's just assuring. In my case, it's just rebounding for kids, just getting in the gym with them and just knowing I was there to support them. That helped build trust. Just having positive words, going on a walk with them, finding out how their day was. Anything I could do to build a relationship with the student athletes and again, my fellow staff members and head coach, and meet them where they were at, where they were comfortable, I thought was very helpful. So as I came in, just fresh from playing, just trying to find a way to serve different individuals in a place that they were comfortable, I found to be a winning strategy.
Huge winning strategy. So we have, it's not about you, and we have, how may I serve that athlete? That's the beginning of a great combination. And Sanja, tell us about really what you've learned as some winning strategies.
For me, it was, I think there's a difference also. What I found for me being assistant coach and being a head coach. And when I transitioned into assistant coach and recruiting coordinator, it was such a natural role for me at that time. And to the point where I kind of like started understanding why people told me when I played with them that I was going to be a good coach, because like I was that shoulder that, people can relate to, like they can tell me things, they can, they wanted to spend time with me, and that was great. I had, that was amazing. So that to have been blessed to kind of for them to see me as that safe haven, like come to me and talk to me about anything. With that being said, it was hard for me to coaching just and understanding like why can't they understand that was for me the hardest thing. Like, okay, I told her 10 times and why can't she just do it, and that was like super frustrating for me, because those were the things for me that I felt like were so easy. And my boss at that time told me and I used to tell her, I'm like, it's a common sense, why can't you just get it? It's a common sense. How long you played volleyball for? And she would say, okay, I understand that she's the best player that we've ever going to have in the school, but she's also 20 and you played volleyball for 20 plus years and she's just 20 years old. So my advice to you is moving forward, just assume that they don't know anything. Like, even if they're like the best player in the country, when you're coaching them, just assume they don't know. And that's helped a lot for me. I just now don't assume, even coming into Pac-12 and having some of the best players in the country, in our conference and on my team. And I just don't assume. I give them feedback. I coach them up, tell them what I know and what I think they should do. And that's helped a lot. But the difference between assistant and a head coach, it's, you don't change as a person as far as like who you are. But because you're the one writing the lineup, you're the one that, makes the decision who travels, who doesn't, and all that. Suddenly, like, these kids don't even see you anymore as that person to come to. And that for me was the hardest thing. I'm like, hey, I'm still the same person. I want to spend time with you. I needed that. And they were like, yeah, we're going to go to Emily. Like, we have a different person. So I would say just, again, ego. And it's not about me. It's about them. And, whatever is that they need, I have to be able to provide for them. So instead of having staff full of male coaches that they can't relate to or whatnot, I make sure that I have usually somebody with me that they can come to and talk to.